Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on KBC Channel 1. It is 1 p.m. and we are live. It is the 14th day of April 2022, on a day when the United Democratic Alliance Party is holding its primaries all over this country, and we are going to be keeping tabs on that. We begin on that note. Now, the United Democratic Alliance Party, associated with Deputy President William Ruto, has kicked off its primaries with pockets of chaos rocking some polling stations. Low voter turnout and delays in opening of the voting centers characterized the exercise, with some aspirants crying foul. The party is senatorial contest in 13 counties and 18 senatorial contests, among other elective positions. We join in our reporters now who are following the event, but we'll get to listen in to what is currently going on.
We are lost during the preparations because we have areas like now Migori. The votes for the MCA are still coming. The RO said that he's going to extend with those hours that we have lost. Ruiru the same. They started at around noon. So they are almost 6 hours that we lost in the morning. They are going to be extended in the evening. And what we are now doing is preparing lighting in all the polling stations. And I'm sure people are comfortable, by the way. And the disputes that have been there, we have resolved them as candidates amicably without creating a lot of hullabaloo, because at least you know very well that they were printed by human beings. Like now in Kanduni, for example, the Migori constituency bears the same name with the ward. So even the printers there, maybe they don't know that there is a Migori constituency and a Migori ward. Otherwise, they could have added something to differentiate the ward, maybe like Migori Township or something. But the way it was bearing that Migori ward is the same with the Migori constituency, we understand that that could have been the problem. Otherwise, there are no many problems as such.
So you've had no reports of scuffles or anything?
Yes, although there are some people who are still trying to bribe the voters and what. But that one is not a very big problem as such. Yes, otherwise people are ready to make sure that this process succeeds, especially here in Kiambu. We want to make sure that this process succeeds. If there's a problem, the RO is very cooperative. He's calling us. We go there, we talk, and somehow we come to a good conclusion. Yes, yeah. There's a lot of cooperation, by the way, within the candidates. Only that some of them are trying to create some. Bribing is what is the complaint now. That some people are trying to bribe voters. Some people are trying to find out whether they can vote twice. But so far, so good. The process in Kiambu is good.
Maybe,
yes.
Governor, are you going to accept the results?
Personally, if there is no new problems that will crop up, I'm going to accept. Yes, but so far, so good. People are saying that I'm winning, so there is no problem.
Are you concerned about voter apathy, perhaps?
Voter apathy?
Yes.
Yeah, voter apathy is also there, yes. The turn-up is not very good, but we expect that it will improve in the afternoon. Maybe from 3, 4 o'clock there, I know people will come and vote. Actually, ni daire githie ndire akoma daire ya musho ndirekereirie ya musho.
We are following up on the UDA party nominations that are currently ongoing throughout this country, and our teams are on the ground following up on that. Just now, we want to take you to Meru County, where Ben Troy Njue is on standby to give us an update on how the primaries are going in that particular location. Ben Troy, if you can hear me.
Thank you so much, Nisi Mano, back in studio. And of course, to our viewers, good afternoon. We are coming to you live from Kaaga Primary School, which is another polling station right here in Imenti North constituency. Well, as you can see, the situation has not yet changed, at least for the best. There are only 3 ballot papers cast, as you can see. And as I had alluded to earlier, is that we are only, the whole of Meru County, we are only doing UDA, MCA, and women representative. Only 2 candidates for the MCA who are jostling for that one tight spot. And you can see here, the women rep position has attracted around 4 women. But we are hoping that the situation, being a Mira zone and an agricultural zone, we expect perhaps the situation will become better later on in the evening. But allow me in 1 minute. You see there is no crowds, no lines or anything, but there's something I would like to show you. It's quite a contrast from what we have been doing here all morning. We have been in 7 polling stations, and I can tell you for free is that we have about 10 votes, but we are hoping that the situation has become a little bit better. But looking outside, quite a contrast, a lot of noise, a lot of people. As you can see, Jimmy Wanjigi, the Safina party leader, has been here for the better part of the morning. He was holding his campaigns here. And of course, he tore into the government talking about the high cost of living and the cost of fuel and what he intends to do as soon as he ascends to power. Well, we are also waiting for more from other polling stations. From here, we'll also be checking out the Meru. Earlier on, we were at the Meru School, which is the polling station, and also where all the votes will be counted later on in the evening. But for now, as you can see, a lot of people here because of the political rally by Jimmy Wanjigi, but quite few people coming out. But something has been said is that it's because they have come to consensus. That is why we are only having 2 positions that are being fought for this moment. But of course, we will be here till late to ensure that we have all the results from Meru. Back to you, Nisimano.
Thank you so much, Ben Troy Njue, who is currently at the Kaaga Primary School in Meru County. They are telling us that they're experiencing low voter turnout, but the day is still young. We now want to head over to Uasin Gishu County and join John Jacob Curia, who is on standby there. But we do have all of our teams on the different counties who are already on the ground, going to be bringing us up to speed on the UDA party primaries that are currently ongoing throughout the county. So now we'll take you to Uasin Gishu County, where John Jacob Curia is on standby with an update. Curia, if you can hear me.
Thank you, Nisi. Back at Broadcasting House, we are live in Tarbo constituency. This is Uasin Gishu Primary School. The exercise of voting here has been delayed for more than 7 hours because the 4th or the 5th person has just voted. This being around 10 minutes after 1 o'clock is when the exercise has kicked off in this place. Quite massive delays witnessed around here. And I have one of the candidates here who is running for Huruma Ward MCA. Kindly start by introducing yourself and then tell us about your experience with this exercise.
Thank you very much. Mimi naitwa James Maina Washira. Ni mmoja wa waniaji tiketi ya UDA hapa upande wa Huruma. Nimekuja kupiga kura sasa hivi kwa sababu tangu saa 1 tumekuwa hapa tukingoja. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka kusema hivi ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais, mimi naomba ya kwamba haki itendeke kwa kila mmoja, kwa sababu sisi mahaslas ambao tuko hapa tunaona ni kama kuna njama ya madynasty 2 watatu ambao hawataki mabadiliko, wanafanya njama ya delay ili waweze kutunyang'anya uongozi. Lakini tunaamini Mungu na wananchi watatupa nafasi ya sisi pia kuwaongoza nikiwa kama Maina Washira.
Baadhi ya visa ambavyo unavisema kwa sababu unasema ni kama kunaonekana kuna njama ya kuhujumu process hii ya nomination. Baadhi ya visa hivyo ni kama vipi?
Ya kwanza ilikuwa inatakikana tuanze uchaguzi saa 1 kamili. Sasa hivi ni saa 8. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni kuonyesha ya kwamba wao wamesense defeat na wanajua their preferred candidate, tutawalima, tutawaweka chini. Kwa hivyo wao wenyewe wanafanya delay ili wao walete ukarabati yao, ili kama kuna watu wao, kwa mfano kule Huruma sasa hivi wale wana vote ni wale watu wetu katika jamii, ni wazee na wale ambao ni walemavu. Na tunaelewa ya kwamba kuna wazee kadhaa ambao wako katika mrengo tofauti. Vijana wetu na wamama ambao ndio wengi hawataki kupewa nafasi. Hivyo basi wao wanajaribu kudelay uchaguzi huu kiasi, ili ikifika saa 11, saa 12 wafunge na ihesabiwe, ili watu wao wenye wametangulia kupiga kura watangazwe, na sisi ambao tuko na wananchi tukose haki yetu.
Wewe kama mwaniaji, kwa sababu kuna kwingine tumetoka na vijana ambao wamejisajili juzi kama wapiga kura, inasemekana kwamba majina yao hayapatikani kwenye register. Sijui kama hiyo ni moja ya zile ambazo umesikia wewe kama mwaniaji.
Yes, hivyo ni kweli, kwa sababu watu wengi walibadilisha kura zao wakaleta katika hapa Huruma Ward. Lakini leo ukienda leo kwa mfano unapata majina yao hayapatikani, lakini kuna mambo ya mazingaumbwe inaendelea. Ya pili tena, kama leo, na mimi nasema bila uoga, wale walikuwa wanatuletea ballot boxes, walituletea ballot boxes wakisindikishwa na gari ya mpinzani wangu paka kwa kila station, na hiyo iko kwa video na iko on record. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka nichukue fursa hii kama Maina Wachira niseme ya kwamba tuache tufanye uchaguzi ya haki na ukweli. Mtu ashinde kwa haki, ashindwe kwa haki, kwa sababu ni makosa sana. Mimi Maina Wachira leo nilirelax na nikatulia kama vile chama imesema, lakini wapinzani wetu wanakuja hapa wanasindikisha ballot boxes na magari, na imesemekana ya kwamba tayari wameshapiga kura, wanangoja giza ifike ili wao wenyewe wajitangaze, na hiyo tunasema ishindwe kabisa.
Asante. Maina Wachira is an aspirant for the Huruma Ward MCA in Tarbo constituency. This is just how the exercise is. In some instances, you will see a lot of delays that have dragged up until now, because this is one of the polling centers where, voting was supposed to begin at 7 a.m. It has started at 1 o'clock. In other places, the UD admits it is using the register by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, an updated register. In other places where we've been, like in Embu constituency, you will get incidences where the youth say, we have registered, but our names do not appear in this register because the party is using the 2017 register. These are some of the issues that are cropping up in this very nominations. And of course, we are monitoring the situation across Uasin Gishu County. We've been to Embu, we've been to Keses, we have also been to Tarbo. We're hoping to be in Kapsaret and Soi, and also be able to assess the situation there before we converge finally at the Eldoret Polytechnic College, but obviously that is the county tallying center. Back to you, Nisi.
Thank you, Kyoria. Kyoria is on standby, as you can see, in Uasin Gishu County, experiencing low voter turnout and delays the opening of the voting centers. They were expected to have opened and began by 7 a.m. this morning, but the exercise began at 11 a.m. We now want to take you to Embu County, where Kamche Menza is on standby there, also to bring us up to speed on how things are on that particular end. Kamche?
Well, Nisi, good afternoon to you back in studio. This is Kiaragana Primary School, and we are at Runyenje's constituency in Embu County. And as you can see, the queue is still on. It is around 20 minutes past 1, and the queue is still on here. One thing to note is that this polling station, there were no delays in the morning. The information we have is that there were no delays, and we are told that the ballot boxes or ballot materials were here at around 7:30, around 7 and 7:38, thereabout. The exercise kicked off. So up until now, the exercise is still on, and as you can see, it is a queue that members are waiting to vote. UDA members are waiting, of course, to cast their votes on their preferred candidate in this particular nomination exercise. It is an exercise that is expected to end at 5. But the information we have is that in Embu County, there are some polling stations that were affected by the delay of delivery of ballot materials. Earlier on in the morning, we were in Embu town, and that's where most of the polling stations were actually affected by the delivery of the ballot boxes. Most of the polling exercises actually began at around 10:30, and a different polling station started at around 11. So basically, the exercise did not start on time in most of the polling stations in Embu town, and we can speak with authority because we spoke to some of the officials in the UDA party, and they came out clear saying that there were such delays that were caused by what happened last evening here in Embu, the burning of some ballot materials, and again logistical arrangements were not in order per se, and that this morning that particular exercise was affected and therefore delayed for some hours. But in this particular polling station, there was no delay, but we have information or speculation has it that the exercise began on time, yes, but then there were issues that came about with members saying that their ballot papers that were brought in that had already been marked. So that particular issue raised a concern, and the exercise was halted for a few hours, then it began again. Right now, I'm joined by one of the members who was here in the morning, who participated in that particular exercise before it was halted, and then it began again. If you could start by your name and basically tell us what time you came here to vote and what transpired up until now.
Kwa jina naitwa Francis Duranera. Tumekuja asubuhi ku vote na lakini ballot paper imeingia kama imesarawa kidogo, lakini tulivumilia na tukapanga laini na tukaendelea. Lakini wakati wa asubuhi kuliingia kitu kama lapsa wale walikuwa tumefuti tayari. Hiyo ballot box nyingine ikawa na lapsa, pengine kuna makaratasi ilikuwa imemakiwa, lakini yo tumeangalia na tukaona ulikuwa ukweli, tukaitoa yote tukailalua. Hata ukiangalia ndio hii tumelalua yote, alafu tukaanza upya tena na tukaendelea vizuri na hakuna lapsa yoyote, na tumeendelea vizuri. Watu wamejitokeza kwa wingi na tuko tayari kuchaguana bila shida yoyote, na tunaendelea vizuri. Na hata ukiangalia kina mama wase wako na laini yao, hatutaki wasumbuke, tunawapatia na nafasi waende wachaguane, wale wagonjwa wachaguane, wengine wasubiri. Tunaendelea kuchaguana na hakuna shida, na watu tayari wako tayari kuchaguana na wana maneno.
Mulianza saa ngapi haswa?
Tulianza kama tulikuwa tumesarawa kidogo, ballot box imeingia kama imesarawa kitu kama saa 2 hivi. Nataka kidogo.
Na hiyo rabsha ikatokea saa ngapi?
Lapsa ilitokea kitu kama saa 4 hivi. Ilikuwa imesalia kidogo. Lakini mwenye kutoa lapsa sio sisi members, ni mtu alikuwa ametoka kwa polling station nyingine inaitwa Mufu na akakuja Kiaragana. Kwa hivyo watu wa Kiaragana wakuwa na maneno, hiyo kitu ilikuwa imetoka nje na tukujua alikuwa na nia gani, lakini tayari tumegundua maneno yake na tayari tumesema aende na kaenda. So sio hata mtu wa polling station hii.
Je, kuna viongozi walioingilia pengine kujaribu kutatua?
Na hakuna viongozi waliingilia, ni watu wenyewe, sababu ni watu ambao wameelewa wenye wanafanya na wanajua viongozi wale wanakuja kuchagua. Lakini hakuna viongozi walikuja kuleta maneno. Wenyewe watu ndio waliona kuna maneno inaendelea, na hiyo maneno sio mzuri, wakatatua shinda hiyo wenyewe. Na ukiangalia hata hakuna askari wengi, askari alikuja mmoja, na pia anaonekana kama ana relax, sababu hakuna mtu wako na maneno na yule mwingine, na hakuna mtu wako na vita na yule mwingine. Na hata ukiangalia kwa uwanja unaona kina mama huko wanangojea tu watu wawe kidogo ndio waendelee.
Well, Nisi, you heard it from one of the UDA members who actually cast his vote here in the morning, then redid the exercise again, of course, after the issue came about concerning having received ballot papers that had already been marked. So basically that's it from here in Kiaragana polling station. We will be doing rounds in different polling stations in this county, Embu County, and the different sub-counties that are within Embu County, of course, to bring up to speed our viewer who is waiting to get to know what exactly is happening in this particular part. Basically, that's it. Nisi, back to you in studio.
Indeed, Kamche, thank you for that update. That particular polling station in Runyenjes constituency in Embu County experiencing long queues. So we now want to head over to Kericho County, also where our reporter Achola Simon is on standby to give us an update on that particular polling station. Achola?
Well, thank you very much, Nisi. Indeed, as you've rightly put it, we are in Kericho County, where I am standing right now is actually at Chemosota Vocational Training Center. This is another polling station in Meru constituency here in Kericho County, and this is a constituency where the former senator of this county, but also the CS of Energy and the Devolution, Charles Keter, cast his vote at around midday, and then thereafter, of course, he left to an unknown destination. Earlier on, also, Dr. Erika Mutai had also cast his vote at Chabagal polling station that is down in Belgut, in Belgut also. And of course, we've been actually following what has actually been going on in this county matters, UDA primaries. And what we can report, Nisi, is that the process has been largely peaceful with minimal, if any, instances reported. As we speak right now, the only hitch that has actually been experienced this morning has been the delay of dispatching of ballot papers and boxes across the constituencies, across various constituencies in this county. And one of the constituencies that was actually hard hit was Kipkelion West. But we are told at around 10 a.m. in the morning that hitch had actually been resolved. The other thing that we've actually experienced, Nisi, has been the fact that the locals have been coming in small bits, basically at a snail pace in each and every polling station. And as I speak to you right now at Chemosota polling station, what we are actually being told that this station has about 1184 registered UDA members, and just about 300 have actually come out to cast their vote. This, of course, the locals are telling us is has been attributed to the fact that most of the locals actually woke up very early in the morning and went to tea farms around this area, and most of them have actually been tending to their tea farms, and others have also been involved in other activities, of course, that necessitating the delay in coming out to actually cast their vote. The other thing that we've actually been also told is the fact that most of the locals here are actually farmers in various fields and also traders. So they've actually gone to the market. Others are engaging in their personal activities before they come out and cast their vote. We're also told that others came very early in the morning because voting actually started around 6 a.m. in the morning, and a number of them actually came out and participated in this exercise. Up until now, no incidences of violence have actually been reported. What we know for a fact that the county has been largely peaceful, with leaders, of course, who have actually already cast their vote, calling on the residents to come out in large numbers and cast their vote, but also maintaining that it is important for them to maintain peace even as they elect the person who is actually going to fly the flag of UDA in the general poll. But we have an elder here who has actually participated in the exercise. He'll just brief us of exactly how he has actually seen the exercise, and if indeed he's satisfied with what he's actually seen. Habari yako mzee?
Mzuri sana.
Nieleze unaitwa nani na umefika hapa saa ngapi, na kwa nini bado hujaenda nyumbani na umeshapiga kura?
Nimeingia hapa ilifunguliwa asubuhi saa 12 na mimi nimefika kama nimechelewa kidogo, na ndio nimetoka kupiga kura saa hizi. Na nimefurahia uchaguzi wa siku ya leo. Uchaguzi umeenda kwa njia iliyo sawa, hakuna kelele, hakuna nini. Kila mtu anapiga kura yake na anakuondoka mapema polepole bila mambo yote.
Mzee, tumeona kwamba wewe umefika sasa hivi. Wengine bado hawajafika na kuna wengine ambao walifika asubuhi. Ila swali ni kwamba mbona wengi sana wamechelewa kufika katika shughuli hii?
Unajua hii area yetu ni watu mwingine anashughulika mambo ya chai, anachuna chai kidogo asubuhi, anaenda pia kwa kibanda ya chai, alafu baada ya lunch sasa ndio anakuja saa kuja kupiga kura. Na wengine pia anashughulika na mambo ya ng'ombe kidogo, alafu baada ya hiyo anakuja kupiga kura. Na inaweza kuwa wengine wazee wamekuja mbele ili waende wamrelease wa mama pia wakuje. Lakini kwa kura wanapiga kwa upendo na wanapiga kwa njia ile juu sana. Wanafurahia.
Kwa hivyo inamaanisha kwamba wewe kama mzee wa kijiji hiki ama katika eneo hili wewe umefurahia sana jinsi hii kura imeendeshwa?
Nimefurahia leo kabisa kwa sababu hata hakuna mtu anasimama, mtu anakuja kuchagua kiongozi yake ile anayempenda na kutoka nje ya gate. Hakuna hata shughuli kumwambia mtu kutoka nje ama mtu kusukumwa. Watu wanafanya kazi kwa upendo, wanapiga na furaha. Hakuna shida yoyote kwa kila mtu.
Shukrani sana. Umesema unaitwa nani mzee?
Naitwa Andrea Maritim, mkazi wa Chemasot.
Okay.
Asante.
That is Andrea Maritim, of course, putting it as it is here in Kericho County, basically painting a picture of exactly what you have already said and what exactly is happening here in Kericho County. Locals coming in small bits to actually cast their vote at various polling stations across the county, but more importantly, keeping peace and ensuring that indeed this exercise is carried out in the most peaceful manner. Nisi, in conclusion, what I would also tell you is that we just have 4 candidates who've actually shown their interest in the governor's seat, and that is Charles Keter, who is the former CS of devolution. We also have Dr. Eric Mutai. We have the current deputy governor and Mr. Kirui. But we are also informed that by yesterday, Mr. Kirui had actually stepped down in favor of Dr. Mutai, and of course they are saying that ultimately what counts is that the good of Kericho County must prevail. So basically that is what is happening here in Kericho County, a county that has about 390 registered voters. But of course most of those will be participating in this exercise because you understand that this is largely UDA stronghold, and most of the locals here are actually subscribing to the party that is UDA. However, we will be keeping a keen eye on exactly what will be happening now and going forward up until the time that actually the winner of this contest for various seats will actually be announced, and then of course we can actually put it out there of exactly who will have clinched the day and who will be flying high the flag of UDA in the general poll that is slated in August. Back to you, Nisi.
Thank you, Wachola Simon, there in Kericho County, part of the team that is in different counties, giving us an update on the UDA party nomination exercise that kicked off this morning at different times in the different counties. And of course, we are keeping a close eye on that, and we'll be giving you a lot more throughout the day, not just in this bulletin, but in our subsequent bulletins and even throughout the day. Staying with that nomination story, we want to head over to Bungoma now. United Democratic Alliance nominations in Kanduni constituency, Bungoma County, have kicked off smoothly with aspirants and voters turning up to exercise their democratic rights. Aspirants in the area are calling on residents to turn up to vote for their candidate and maintain peace throughout the process. Security has been beefed up to ensure a smooth running of the exercise and until the winning candidates are awarded their certificates.
Mchezo wa siasa sio vita. Mchezo wa siasa ni kuchakua, na wachakuane kwa amani, tusiche tukawa na furuku lolote. Na naomba pia maofisa ambao wamesimamia hizi kura waendelee kusimamia vizuri.
It should be peaceful. Elections come and go, and people shouldn't think that elections are for life and death. It's not something that's going to happen today and it will never happen again.
And on that note, we want to take a very fast commercial break, but we'll be back with more on the UDA nominations and a lot more. Keep it here.
true love in which family will be the main hardship to achieve happiness.
Well, I understand it, Mom, but I don't want to break up with Adrian.
Paulina will have to confront her own father. And Adrian will suffer due to his sister Julieta's obsession.
No! Not with her! No! Not with her! No!
Paulina is the woman I truly love!
No.
But regardless of jealousy and intrigue,
Karen, open the door, please!
they will fight for their love until the end.
The legendary run to Olympia Stadion in Berlin is now less crowded, with only 4 teams out of 64 still in contention. Something more outstanding is that all of the sides to have won the DFB Pokal over the last 29 years are already out this year.
And Leverkusen are knocked out by a Bundesliga 2 side.
In the first DFB Pokal semi-final, Hamburger SV will face Freiburg on Tuesday, the 19th of April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. While in the second semi-final, RB Leipzig will lock horns with Union Berlin on Wednesday, the 20th April 2022 at 9:45 p.m. Having braced the turbulent journey and buoyed up with the trophy in sight, no team want to go down without a fight. You don't want to miss this adventurous football show, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner. Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with KBC Channel 1. We want to head over to Mombasa County. There we want to, Chola Simon Mwandiga, I beg your pardon, Mwandiga is on standby there to give us an update.
Well, good afternoon, Nisi. We are coming to you again from Mombasa County. We are just doing a spot check on the fuel crisis here in Mombasa County. As you can see right behind me, this petrol station, it was full in the morning with motorists coming here to fuel their vehicles. But as you can see right now, the fuel is finished. And just as my cameraman will show you as I walk across, there are long queues of motorists who have been looking for fuel. But now they have been queuing and now fuel is over. And I'm joined by one of the motorists who just bring us up to speed. Ndugu, kwa majina unaitwa nani na hali imekuaje ukishughulikia swala hili la mafuta?
Mimi naitwa Alamin Somo, ni mmoja wa wakazi katika kaunti hii ya Mombasa. Kihakika kuna maswali mingi ya kujiuliza ambayo majibu yake sisi kama wananchi hatuna. Hii serikali yetu inatushangaza sana. Kwa sababu kihakika kweli shida iko, lakini ni wajitokeze waweze kutueleza wataitatua vipi. Shida ni itafutiliwe suluhisho. Ikiwa wale wa kutafuta suluhisho wamelala, ni bora waende nyumbani. Maana kwa nini nikasema hivi? Sisemi kwamba ati na chuki na mtu, no, sina chuki na mtu yote, lakini ni kitu inayotusaidia kwa kila siku. Mafuta ikiwa hakuna unalemaza uchumi. Mafuta ikiwa hakuna, mboga nini zitaletwa vipi huku? Watu waje wale. Kando na hiyo, vitu vya huku vitapelekwa vipi kule? Kwenye mitambo kutatengenezwa vipi vitu bila mafuta? Yaani mafuta ndio maisha. Bila mafuta hatuwezi kuishi. Kwa hivyo ni lazima kutafutwe suluhisho la haraka, kwa sababu wananchi tunateseka. This is not fair. Serikali hivi inavyofanya si sawa kabisa.
Okay, sawa. Kwa hivyo kwa sasa swala muhimu ni kwamba mafuta yaweze kupatikana, kwamba ndiposa maisha yaweze kuendelea sawa sawa, ndivyo?
Bila shaka.
Shukran sana. Now as I move forward, I'll also be talking to some of these motorists who just bring us up to speed. They have been queuing here since wee hours of the morning. Ndugu, naitwa nani na umekopa kwa muda gani ukitafuta mafuta?
Naitwa Thomas Mkala. Nimeanza kutafuta mafuta kuanzia saa 12 asubuhi. Mpaka sasa ni saa 7 sijapata mafuta. Nimekuja ngasimama hapa kaambiwa kwamba hakuna mafuta. Yaani tumekaa kidogo wakatuambia eti mafuta yamekatika, na tena wanatuambia mpaka Jumamosi ndio tutapata mafuta. Afadhali watuletea mafuta hata kama ni kidogo, lakini tuyapate. Maana tuko na watoto nyumbani. Sasa hata sijui nitaenda kupelekea watoto nini nyumbani. Maana sijapata mafuta na sijafanya kazi yote. Hata asubuhi nimetoka ninazungukia kutafuta mafuta. Pikipiki niko nayo hapa imezima kwa sababu haina mafuta na sijui nitarudi nayo vipi Likoni. Na feri nimelipa 50, sasa tena nilipia 50 nikisukuma pikipiki nivuke feri. Maka watu wa Kenya feri hawezi jua kama mimi sijapata mafuta na nilikuwa nimefuata mafuta huku. Na lazima nilipie nini? Nilipie feri. Kusema ukweli, hii Kenya hatujaelewa kama imeuzwa ama ni
kitu ni kwamba kwa sasa kitu mnachoangaza ni kwamba mafuta yaweze kupatikana ndio ndipo shughuli zenu ziendelee.
Tupate mafuta hata kama watatupatia kidogo lakini tuyapate.
Shukran sana Nisi. This is how things are here. Very furious motorists with regard to this fuel crisis here in Mombasa County. Most of them are saying it categorically. They have been here since the wee hours of the morning as far as from Kwale County and Likoni. That's the other side of the Indian Ocean, coming here to look for fuel. But all those 5 hours, 6, 7 hours they have been here, they haven't had fuel. And my cameraman still pan across there. It's just there has been a long queues of motorists looking for this fuel, but till now there's still no fuel. And the fuel station right behind me, they are saying that there is no fuel and just they'll have to ground their operations. That's all we have for now from Mombasa County. And back to you, Nisi.
Thank you, Michael Mwandiga, who is in Mombasa, doing a spot check on the current fuel shortage that has been experienced for weeks on end here in this country. And staying with the same story, the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining had a press briefing to address that particular issue. Let's listen in.
To privilege the movement of fuel so that we can stock up across the country. In this regard, we are going to allow the movement of tankers on a privileged basis starting later today. And we hope that we can do this in the next 72 hours to stabilize the supply across the country. The movement of the fuel will be strictly in fidelity with the approved dispatch and merit order to all oil marketing companies. In this regard, I'm also calling upon all the retailing outlets to operate on a 24-hour basis so that we do not have Kenyans waking up in the middle of the night to go and try to fuel.
Drafted the contract. You just need to sign it. Why? I'm an excellent beautician. Why is no one willing to hire me? The worst thing is, some of them are my old friends.
I want to hire her. I'll let her work in Venus again, doing the lowest job so I can insult her.
Give us a minute. I have something to say to Miss Gao.
Dad.
You leave too.
Oh.
Thank you for staying with KBC Lunchtime News. Moving on, casual workers at Migori County Referral Hospital have downed their tools, citing poor working conditions and salary delays. Led by their chairperson, Delamera Dea, the workers say they have not been paid for the past 10 months and attempts to follow up on the matter have been futile.
The chairperson of casual workers at Migori County Referral Hospital, Demalea Dea, says despite missing salaries, they are being subjected to unfavorable working conditions, worsened by water shortage, which has crippled operations at the health facility for the past 2 months.
Hivi sasa mnaona tunakaribia kufungua, shule inakaribia kufunguliwa. Sasa tumeshindwa ya kwamba tutapeleka watoto aje shuleni.
Unapata mtoto, uko na mtoto mchanga ama uko na watoto wengine kando, hata vile wakule, vile wavae, vile waende shule ni stress.
The over 70 workers say that some of them have been dismissed after being unable to report to work for days. They further maintain they will not rent until their demands are met and the working conditions improved.
Na ukikosa kufika na unafukuzwa uende nyumbani. Na pia hiyo maneno ya hospitali, frustration hiyo tumechoka nayo. Mara uende ufanye kazi huku, mara uende ufanye kazi huku, na hiyo kazi unafanya minus water. Hatuna hata maji hospitalini.
Attempts to reach the chief officer in charge of medical services to respond to the allegations were in vain as our call went unanswered.
Away from that, the Wings to Fly program will be withdrawn from students who are involved in cases of indiscipline in schools. Equity Bank's marketing director, David Nyamu, while commissioning the program to beneficiaries at Garissa University, announced that out of 11 students who applied, only 1 was selected, underscoring the need for the students to not misuse the opportunity.
Bank's marketing director David Nyamu urged the students to exercise good conduct and high level of discipline in schools they are admitted to.
So tunawaambia wachukue nafasi kwa njia mzuri na wasome kwa bidii ndio wajenge maisha yao hapo baadaye.
Garissa County Director of Education Hussein Ali, on his part, advocated for more slots in the coming years, especially for the marginalized regions.
The chance we were given, the slots we were given, is not adequate. So we request the equity management to increase the places that we are given, because most of our societies are nomads and most of them have lost their animals.
This year, the Wings to Fly, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education through Elimu Scholarship Program, is fully sponsoring 37,000 students. The comprehensive program covers school fees, transport and pocket money for the selected students.
In business, Uganda's real estate developers have suffered a setback following a price hike of construction materials amid the COVID-19 outbreak. In addition, developers believe the Ukraine-Russia crisis is partly to blame for the current price increments. Here's more to the story and much more on Business Africa.
Wilberforce Nsamba, who once had ambitious plans to set up more residential apartments in Uganda after the government reopened the economy, says his plans are not progressing as he had hoped. He says steel prices and cement prices have drastically increased over the last 1 year. Property developers say the rising cost of building materials is disrupting their project timelines and affecting their completion. Shop owners say the prices of steel and cement have more than doubled in the last 2 months, which is keeping customers away. Uganda imports most of the raw materials needed for its steel-making industry, as well as for its cement manufacturing. Meanwhile, the World Bank has approved a $300 million rehabilitation fund for Ethiopia. The newly approved funds will be used to rehabilitate those affected by conflict, which has resulted in loss of lives, humanitarian crisis, destruction of private and public assets, and have left communities in dire need of support. The cash will cover the needs of people at risk in Afar, Amhara, Benishangul Gumuz, Oromo. The newly released funds will be implemented by federal, regional, community-based organizations, as well as independent third-party entities. Finally, Uganda's government has deployed pesticides to fight an outbreak of African armyworm, which devastates cereal crops and has been discovered in 35 districts of the country. Uganda is a significant maize producer and exports a large part of its annual output to neighboring countries. Delayed rains in many parts of Uganda has pushed back crop planting for the first season of this year, meaning most crops are still young when the impact of armyworm attack is most devastating. The districts where the armyworm caterpillars have been detected are mostly in Uganda's east, center and north, with crops such as maize, millet and sorghum as well as pastures affected.
Local manufacturers project that uptake of electrical vehicles will double within a year, powered by increased demand occasioned by high fuel prices. Bolt Regional Manager Micah Kenneth says an acute shortage in fuel being witnessed across the country is pushing motorists to explore alternatives, and local producers should rise to the occasion to meet this demand.
The fuel shortage experienced across the country over the last 3 weeks, with marketers and the government trading blame over release of the fuel subsidy. Today, Energy Cabinet Secretary Monica Juma said 34.6 billion shillings for the fuel subsidy program had been disbursed. However, vehicle assemblers and logistics service providers say their customer base are increasingly exploring other non-fuel options, such as electric vehicles, motivated by lower operational costs at a time when fuel prices have drastically increased, fueled by the Russia-Ukraine conflict. They project that demand for electric vehicles would increase 5 times over the next 5 years. Bolt Regional Manager Micah Kenneth says operating costs for electric vehicles are 40% lower than fossil-powered vehicles. Players in the industry, however, say charging stations are still few in comparison to the number of vehicles, more so in areas outside Nairobi.
This is presently only available in Nairobi, and we're looking to scale this green choice of mobility in electric cars to other counties and other countries as well within the East African region.
Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
Let's now take a look at the day's sports. Reigning Africa 100-meter record holder Ferdinand Omanyala produced an outstanding performance to win the Athletics South Africa Grand Prix in Jamestown. Omanyala clocked 9.98 seconds to win the race ahead of former Africa record holder Akani Sibine of South Africa and Bradley Koana, who completed the podium dash. This was Omanyala's second 100-meter race of the outdoor season, having opened his campaign last weekend in South Africa.
8 runners. Away they go, first time, a good start from Omanyala and Sambini, but it's flat. Here they go, the two in the middle lanes, but it's Omanyala's going to crush this one. A superb run, 9.98. What a run! Omanyala has smashed it here in Germiston. A sensation. Ferdinand Omanyala has brought his A game. The beast has really set the East alight.
Well, come of the hour and come of the man, speed, size, and a 9.98 unofficial. Look at just the delight in his face. That is Ferdinand Omanyala, the fastest man on the African continent. Just look at the start. A lovely blast out of the blocks, put under pressure by Akani in the early stages, but just put the hammer down and he just flew away. Ferdinand Omanyala.
On the international scene, Manchester City produced a mature and disciplined performance to hold off the challenge of Atletico Madrid and set up a Champions League semi-final showdown with the Spanish side's City rivals Real Madrid. Meanwhile, Liverpool remain in the hunt for an historic quadruple after a thrilling draw with Benfica secured a two-leg Champions League semi-final against Villarreal. And with that, we bring KBC Lunchtime News to a close, but we are still following up on the UDA party nominations that are currently happening throughout the country. Our teams are on the ground and will be bringing you more reports as the day unfolds. Generally, it has been occasioned by low turnout in polling centers. Other centers were opened a little bit late, and ballot boxes and papers delivered a little bit late. So we'll be keeping you updated on that and much more. Thank you for joining us. I am Nisi Imano. Lucy Maura has been our sign language interpreter for this bulletin. Good afternoon and enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Huku mpaka uniambie mbona umekuja huku. Never ever ask me that question again, okay?
Please. No. You parked and left us. I mean, who does that? Your own kids.
I left you a rich dad.
Really?
Just pack up and leave.
And you're?
I am like your father, and you can learn a lot from me.
I haven't learned a lot from my own father.
Please leave my son's office before I call security on you.
It's one department I've not met. By all means, please do call them.
I just need your help speaking to my children.
Oh, the mighty Kathy can beg.
Please.
I'm sure you have the police hiding and waiting for me in the park, am I right? Leo? Fine.
I'm never going to sign it.
Well, you're not going anywhere until you sign it.
I think that what we need to do is get out of here.
And leave empty-handed? Are you crazy?
Look, don't you dare start calling me crazy, okay?
Lying heart.
of Zambia's veteran opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema as the country's new president was a key moment in Africa's political history. His victory was celebrated across Africa, offering a glimmer of hope for countries that are desperately yearning for change. Presidential elections in Africa are usually hotly contested, but the outcomes can also be bitterly disputed.
I will comply with the constitutional provisions for a peaceful transition of power.
In this episode, we look at the importance of a successful and democratic transition. Is this a new dawn for Africa's democracy? What lessons can other African states draw from Zambia's landslide opposition victory? And what's in it for the voters?
I know he's going to do something for the youths.
Also in the program, COVID vaccination picks up pace across the continent, but what do scientists have to say about possible side effects? How about the loss of vaccine efficacy? This is The Breakdown, going behind the headlines. My name is Shiro Muriuki. Let's get started. Single-party regimes came under pressure in the early 1990s to liberalize and allow more participation in the political process. And as countries opened their democratic spaces, a new wave of change dislodged key figures who had ruled their countries for much of the post-independence era. While most elections have brought about positive changes in some countries, others have yielded chaos as parties disputed election results and long-serving leaders fought to stay on. So why was Zambia's election a big deal for African states' multi-party democracy?
It shows that there is the whole belief that actually real change can take place by way of the ballot and not the bullet.
Here's something you need to know. Hakainde Hichilema's victory is the third time in Zambia that power has switched from a ruling party to the opposition since independence. He defeated his longtime rival by almost 1 million votes on his sixth attempt. He is now the seventh president of Zambia, and this has generated a lot of interest across the continent.
It's not just a question of going to the ballot, but planning for that election in the manner in which the party strategizes internally, in the manner in which the party picks and the candidate picks the running mate, and the kind of internal harmony within a political party. If there was disorganization within President Hakainde's party, then that disorganization would be reflected outwardly, even in the manner in which they were conducting their campaign.
The country's currency, the kwacha, and Eurobonds rallied after his landslide victory. Many Zambians have welcomed Hichilema's presidency, and they hope his leadership will usher in greater freedom and prosperity.
From his promises, I'm sure that he's going to do everything possible, because I've been watching him. He's like my idol.
Let's now shift our focus from Zambia to the rest of the continent. Now, there have been instances of peaceful power transition in Africa. The continent has made great strides towards democracy in more than half a century. However, there are also spots where leaders have held office for years and others deposed.
Now, Ghana is one country that has managed to have peaceful transitions through elections. In 2016, former President John Mahama conceded defeat after then opposition leader Nana Akufo-Addo won the presidency on his third run for office. This marked the third time the party in power had changed since